Our involvement had started from day one, from just before the A-League was started. We always loved football in my family. I grew up in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and as a young girl, I always used to go to the football games. And when I moved to Australia and went to Sydney Uni, and I continued to play football, and it was only natural that when we saw that Australian A-League was starting, it was over 20 years ago now, that I was sitting on Saturday morning. It was just probably a day similar to today. Very sunny, very beautiful, very warm. I was having breakfast with Scott, who was obviously a chairman for many, many years. And we read an article, and the article said Australian A-League is starting and they're looking for people to take part, Frank Lowy was basically calling for investors. And yes, and then we read that article, shared it with my family, and never looked back.
And what back then did you envisage in your eyes that you wanted to create?
We were always very ambitious, bold, and we just wanted to be part of the journey to build Sydney FC into the best and most successful football club in Australia, which I think we have succeeded.
And there were plenty of events back in that first season. The launch night, there was the grand final, there were the trips abroad during the Club World Cup, and the trips to the Middle East and various others. Anything particular that really stick out?
So my first personal trip with Sydney FC was to go to Japan to the World Club Championships because Australia was still part of Oceania to qualify for the World Cup Championships. Sydney FC did qualify, and it was an extremely memorable trip. We watched Sydney FC play a number of games, and a few other shareholders came along, and to be honest, these memories for me form one of the best memories of Sydney FC in my life, probably. And it was incredibly passionate to see Sydney FC being part of this global stage after only one season, and it was just a very big pinch me moment. I remember we were at the launch, and I still remember standing there, and Walter Bunyo, who's our current director, and he was the chairman of season 1, he said, and I still remember him saying, I had a dream. And that moment for me really stuck with me, because I had to pinch myself, and I then realized that my family and myself personally, were part of this incredible opportunity, probably once in a lifetime opportunity, to be part of the building and witnessing the football club and the league that was starting from scratch, and it was extremely, extremely special. Yeah, it was just incredible.
In terms of that first season as well, winning the grand final, obviously you would have wanted that, but when it happened, how did that make you feel?
Look, it felt surreal. I mean, all my life I supported my local football club as a kid, and when the opportunity presented to be part of Sydney FC, and winning was just, the cherry on top. But to be honest, it was not only about winning, it was just about building an incredible loyalty and connecting to our fans, and basically it was about storytelling and giving people excitement and emotion of a game day. Back then, I remember standing at the stadium, and I remember thinking, we are at the start of the incredible journey, and it was extremely, I just felt extremely grateful and privileged to be part of it.
So the club was dubbed Bling FC at the beginning. What did you think of the label at that time?
Look, to be honest, we didn't mind it. It was a reflection of Sydney's glamour and ambition. But it didn't define us. It brought attention to the club, definitely. And Sydney is, and this is just my personal opinion, but probably shared by many people, that is a beautiful city. I think for me, Sydney is one of the best cities in the world, and the sparkle of, sky blue harbour. And sometimes for me, it's also connection to Sydney's swagger and cool. And
Dwight York certainly brought all of that to Sydney. Bringing him here as the marquee of the first season was obviously a big goal, and must have made you feel incredibly proud that Sydney FC led the way in that sense.
The opportunity presented itself, and Dwight was very excited to be a part of our first year. And incredible it was. I mean, Dwight is very cool, and back then he had drawn a lot of headlines and was part of a lot of, other sort of aspects of Sydney lifestyle, and definitely it helped Sydney FC grow the brand back then, for sure.
So your family started as part of a larger shareholder group, but eventually took control. Why was that important to you?
Look, I think it was just a natural course of events. Like, we didn't have a big master plan, other than being a majority shareholder, and allowed us to implement the club's strategy and the vision and bold ambition into life. And we as a family, and Scott over many, many years, had contributed incredible passion and dedication and commitment and love and the vision and club's culture, and contributed to making that reality. And being majority shareholder just allowed us to be able to do that with clarity, ambition and precision.
So one of your first major moves after gaining full control was bringing Alessandro Del Piero to Sydney. How did that decision come about, and was it a deliberate push to bring a true global superstar to Australia?
Absolutely. It was extremely exciting opportunity. When we learned that Alessandro was coming off contract, we didn't even blink over making a decision to put a proposal in front of him. And look, sometimes in life the stars just align, and he agreed to come to Sydney, and it was an incredibly exciting day. I remember actually, I got the news, I was sleeping, it was about 2 a.m. and obviously daytime in Italy, and we received a phone call and it said, yes, he's coming to Sydney FC, and we were like, yes. So it was incredible time.
And it changed the club's trajectory, because both in terms of prestige and also financially, it was a big investment to make at the time, and presumably it was recouped.
Look, absolutely. We wanted to have Alessandro as part of Sydney FC, and it was incredibly huge commitment on many, many fronts, and it was, of course, a big financial investment. But look, we definitely think we had done very well out of it. It helped Sydney FC build more loyalty with the fans, expand the fan group, and not only just Sydney FC, like everywhere we traveled and played other A-League teams, there was incredible excitement. And I mean, he's the global superstar, still is now. So it was very, very special to have him at Sydney FC. And also I remember walking in Venice, I think, and there are lots of, like, I don't know what they're called, but people who sell jerseys, football jerseys, fake. And they obviously fake ones, yes. And we spotted Del Piero's shirt, and it was Sydney FC, and that was like, wow, that was so cool. But Alessandro was incredible for the club.
Yeah, it made the club become a real sort of global icon, I suppose, having a global icon like Del Piero here.
Definitely. It was it was incredibly powerful, ambitious, bold move on our part, on our decision making. It was, of course, a huge commitment, but we also financially, but we also believed that it only shows our true ambition and passion and commitment to build the club, not only for the short time, but for the long time. And we believe that bringing Del Piero here was just part of the clear strategy and commitment to make the club the best it can be and to put it on the global stage.
Was there a moment when you realised we're going to make this the most successful club in the country?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we've got our trophies displayed at Sky Park here, tell the story about this. But for me personally, it's not just about winning. It's about building an incredible culture. It's about building the best youth academy in the country. It's about leading the way with making women's football more and more successful as time goes by. And yes, of course, winning is only, as I said before, cherry on top. It's incredible, but it's not just about winning. It's about culture, and it's about having right values as the club, and it all starts from the top and translates to the very, very bottom.
And just looking ahead, what does the future hold for Sydney FC with your family's leadership?
Our commitment to the growth of this club over the past 20 years is a testament of how we feel about Sydney FC. It's part of our life, my life, our children's lives. Our future strategy is even more ambitious than the first 20 years. Our dream, my dream, is to take Sydney FC onto the global landscape. Have fans follow us from faraway places, inspire many kids to play for us, and to create champions and, most importantly, create many more everlasting life memories.